Welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to be your guide for this one, because today we're embarking on a true medical detective story. We're going to look way beneath the surface of your daily habits to uncover a hidden biological operating system that's constantly running in the background of your life. And this system, it dictates how you age, how you think, and how quickly you recover from the everyday stresses of just being alive.
So let's dive right in with a massive question. What invisible biological forces are shaping the quality of your life every single day? We usually think about health in terms of isolated actions, right? What we eat, how many miles we run, what supplements we take. But there's a profound, unseen mechanism silently keeping score. It's constantly deciding whether your cells repair themselves or if they just quietly accumulate damage. And to really understand this, we have to completely rethink the one-third of our lives we spend totally unconscious.
For decades, we've bought into this illusion of sleep as a passive state, like we're just turning off the machine to save battery. But the reality is wild. Sleep is actually a highly active, high-energy state of biological reconstruction. While you're resting, your body is executing this massive metabolic repartitioning project. It's clearing out cellular stress, fixing unfolded proteins, and physically cementing new neural pathways. It is definitely not a shutdown, it is a dedicated reconstruction phase. But, and this is a big but, there's a secret key required to unlock this phase. And surprisingly, it has absolutely nothing to do with just being tired.
Which brings us to Section 2, the sleep temperature paradox.
To unravel this paradox, we need to look at something called the distal proximal gradient, or DPG. Now, for your brain to even allow sleep to happen, your core body temperature actually has to drop, and drop rapidly. But your core can't just vent heat straight out of your chest. Instead, it has to push that heat out to your extremities. The blood vessels in your hands and feet dilate, a process called vasodilation, and they act like biological radiators, literally releasing heat into the room. If your hands and feet can't get warm to release that heat, your core can't cool down, and you are going to lie awake staring at the ceiling.
So here's how this biological cascade happens step by step. First, your master clock senses darkness and your melatonin levels rise. Second, that melatonin actually triggers the blood vessels in your hands and feet to open up. Third, your core heat escapes. And finally, fourth, sleep initiates. This is a strict, non-negotiable biological sequence. It's exactly why something as simple and honestly kind of counterintuitive as wearing warm socks or taking a hot foot bath before bed can drastically accelerate sleep. You're artificially widening those blood vessels to dump that core heat.
But here is where the science takes a fascinating, almost alarming turn. Get this, during your most active dream state, you actually lose the ability to sweat or shiver. The crucial point here is that during REM sleep, human beings functionally become poikilotherms. That means we become cold-blooded organisms. We completely paralyze our thermal defenses. If the room gets freezing, you won't shiver. If it gets boiling hot, you will not sweat. So you have to ask, why in the world would evolution design a system where we become completely defenseless to our environment during our most vulnerable hours?
Let's explore that in Section 3, the energy allocation hypothesis. The answer actually comes down to a single number, 10 times. For endotherms, meaning warm-blooded mammals like us, maintaining our core temperature at exactly 37 degrees Celsius is an incredibly expensive metabolic investment. In fact, it costs roughly 10 times more energy than an identically sized cold-blooded animal uses. Believe it or not, thermoregulation is the single most energetically demanding thing your body does all day long.
And evolution? Well, evolution is the ultimate strict accountant. Dr. Marcus Schmidt's energy allocation hypothesis reveals something incredible. We literally do not have enough energy to simultaneously fund wake-dependent activities like running, defending ourselves and thermoregulating, and sleep-dependent activities like cellular repair, brain plasticity, and immune memory. So sleep acts as an energy shift. We shut down those expensive waking operations so we can actually afford the deep biological repair of the night.
And this brings us to the ultimate biological trade-off. REM sleep literally trades thermoregulation for neuroplasticity. Your brain requires a massive amount of energy during REM to rewire neural pathways, consolidate your memories, and process emotions. So to afford this massive spike in brain energy without increasing your overall metabolic rate, your body just completely shuts off the biological heater. It literally trades your temperature defense for your cognitive future. Moving on to Section 4, clocks and cellular housekeeping.
I want you to meet your body's ultimate environmental auditors, MCH neurons, located in your hypothalamus.
These neurons reveal exactly how your brain decides if it's safe to perform that memory-consolidating REM sleep. Remember how you lose the ability to thermoregulate during REM? Because of that, your brain flat-out refuses to enter this state if the room is too hot or too cold. These MCH neurons act as a biological thermostat, constantly scanning your bedroom environment.
Here is the exact checklist your brain runs through every single night. The master clock signals the evening via melatonin. Then, your core body temperature drops. But then, those MCH neurons scan the ambient room temperature. If your bedroom is just slightly too warm, even a little bit outside of your narrow thermoneutral zone, the MCH neurons actively suppress your REM sleep. They essentially say, nope, it's too warm to turn off our thermal defenses tonight. Cancel the brain rewiring. Your brain actively sacrifices your memory consolidation just to defend your core temperature. That takes us to Section 5, the hidden cost of disruption.
Now, we need to be clear, this isn't just about feeling a little groggy the next day. Chronically fighting your own evolutionary thermostat sets off a terrifying biological domino effect. Without sufficient deep and REM sleep, unfolded proteins begin to literally accumulate inside your cells, triggering a massive stress response. This unresolved cellular stress breeds systemic inflammation. Your hunger hormones, specifically ghrelin and leptin, become totally dysregulated, driving metabolic issues, and most frighteningly, the failure to perform this nightly cellular housekeeping is a direct pathway to accelerated cognitive decline and neurodegeneration.
Just consider these two realities. On one hand, an optimal thermal environment gives you maximized REM sleep, deep memory consolidation, and low inflammation. But on the other hand, a disrupted thermal environment yields fragmented sleep, suspended cellular repair, and the accumulation of what scientists call biological debt. And listen, biological debt isn't just a metaphor. It is the literal physical accumulation of unresolved molecular damage. Failing to manage your thermal environment silently reshapes your entire health trajectory over decades.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 6, the unified architecture of health.
This all points to one ultimate realization. Health is not just a collection of separate habits. It is the emergent result of countless interconnected biological processes occurring every moment of every day. Your body is one deeply intertwined biological symphony. Think about it. How you manage light affects your melatonin. Your melatonin dictates your blood vessels. That drops your core temperature, which satisfies your MCH neurons, which then grants you access to REM sleep, which rewires your brain, clears out cellular waste, and lowers your inflammation. You absolutely cannot optimize your mind without first honoring the ancestral thermal requirements of your body.
Which leaves us with this final vital question. Knowing that this hidden operating system exists, knowing that your brain is waiting for the precise physical conditions to rebuild your cells and consolidate your memories, how will you alter your environment tonight to reshape your future tomorrow? Will you drop the thermostat? Will you warm your extremities just to cool your core? You now possess the blueprint. The rest is entirely up to you. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Until next time, stay curious and sleep well.